Hey everybody, before I get started, I just want to mention a couple of ways that you can engage with me on a more personal level. I have a few avenues set up and I keep focusing on one, and I figured, why don't I make a short little video talking about all of them real quick before we get into these episodes. So first thing, Patreon. There's a link in the episode description, and every episode description to the Patreon, as well as a video on the feed called Major Announcement that has all the details of what each tier offers and how much they cost. I implore you to check that out. I offer a lot of cool shit for my patrons. Second thing, the Discord channel. There's also a Discord link in the episode description and in every episode description. I have multiple channels set up there for each show that I'm covering, and it's a great way to just engage with me. I have a channel set up for MMA talk as well. I'm a big MMA fan, so if you're an MMA fan, you can check that out as well. There's a link to the Discord in the episode description. And then lastly, the Facebook and Twitter. Social media. Follow me on there. I post news on there. When I say news, I mean like, hey, I'm stopping covering this show. Hey, I'm starting covering this show. Let me know what you think about this. I do live watches of things on Facebook where like I'll check in and say, I'm watching so-and-so show. And then I'll like live comment while I'm watching it. And that'll be cool if maybe you watch that show too and you want to watch along with me, or you're watching it later and you will see my thoughts, which are usually pretty entertaining because I'm usually pretty high when I'm writing them. So check out all those links in each episode description, and let's talk about this episode. Peace.
One mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic.
Hey everybody, welcome back to One Mic, and today I'm here to talk about Season 1, Episode 2 of Peacock's Miss Davis, entitled Long Ass German Name. So, I looked up the translation for whatever this long German thing is, and the translation is illogical, but that makes sense, right? It kind of fits the quirky tone of this show, and with the misfit Germans in it. Anyway, it translates to, I feel stupid reading this. To you play with side you economy. I really feel like I could see Damon Lindelof like, just put, like, spinning a wheel, like, give me, like, 8 random words and shit. Then translate them into German and make that I feel almost certain that's what happened. Like, it was like, it just randomly translate some fucking random words into German, and we'll make that the episode title. But anyway, I loved how much information we got in this episode, and also how that information is pretty timely. For example, I learned at the end of the last episode that the Queen of Hearts has some sort of significance to Simone, and in this episode, right away, we learn why. So we flash back to 2001, and we see a flashback to Simone as a kid. Her parents are magicians, and she's part of the show, and she's pretending to be a random audience member, and she's out there with fake parents, whole nine. Part of their card trick, her parents' card trick, involves throwing cards at the audience, and Simone catches the Queen of Hearts. So that's why the Queen of Hearts has significance to Simone in the school scene at the end of the last episode. So I appreciate that. Also, we're still in the flashback here. We find that their home life's kind of contentious. The mom and dad are at each other's throats. She says she does all the work while he gets all the credit because he's the magician, right? She's the assistant. Also, she has a workshop that he's not allowed to go into that has a do not enter sign on it that I think is meant to remind you of the one that's on the door of the restaurant in episode 1. They almost look identical. Almost identical. At least in my brain they do. The dad does this fake sob story to convince Simone as a child to go into the workshop so he can figure out what's going on in there. And when she opens the door, she is shot with a crossbow. Like, that is just set up to automatically fire when the door is opened. What the fuck? Whose parent does that? Anyway, they're in the hospital, and now the mom seems more concerned with why she went in the workshop than whether or not she's okay. And she does correctly deduce that the father tricked her into doing it, which is a scam that they call a force, which is a term that we hear Simone refer to pretty frequently in present-day scenes. I know she's referred to it before. The flashback was super fucking useful, though, because it informs us on her upbringing, why she knows so much about magic. It also informs us on her trauma. She got impaled with a fucking arrow that her mother set up. Like, that's gotta fuck you up real bad, right? We also learn that, we see that Wiley is in the bed next to her while the arrow is stuck in her liver, of note. which lets us know that she's known him since she was a kid. Present day, still in the classroom with the kindergarten teacher, an old man comes in to test out a piano. He thinks it's like, he's looking for his dead wife's piano, and so he plays it for a little bit, and is like, nope, that's not it. And he's like, shit. He didn't say shit. He's like, shit, that's not the piano. I'm out. And Simone says that she'll pray for him to find peace. And he gives the exact response that I would have given. I'd have said, fuck praying for me to find peace. Find the fucking piano. He doesn't say that, but like, that's big one mic energy right there. That's what I would have for her. But another quirky aspect here, Wiley's resistance crew. Like, not even a thing, just Wiley's resistance crew. Quirky. Mainly, especially the main guy, JQ. Their headquarters, the way they dress, the way they behave. Very unique, quirky group of guys, this group, right? So Wiley says the algorithm faked everything, pre-motivating her to do its quest before she even knew what the quest was. I skipped over the fact that she went through, that Wiley brought her back to his headquarters. JQ then tells her that the algorithm hasn't actually improved the world, it just distracts them with quests. And he says the users are going on these quests because they're trying to gain wings. And the gaining of the wings, it kind of ties into like social media and just online life in general. And how that's even bled into real life, right? Like validation, likes, popularity, all attention, all of these things, right? That people seek out on social media. They now seek it out in real life because that's what they're accustomed to getting on social media. And now we see that in this show, through the algorithm, people are doing that in order to gain wings. I mean, people are gaining wings in order to get the validation, likes, popularity, etc. So I like that real world tie-in right there. Problem is, the wings are nearly impossible to get, except for in one scenario in which, in exchange for your life, you can get wings. The algorithm essentially gives you a death date. Shout out to Manifest. And you return on that date to be incinerated. At least that's what JQ said. I don't know. JQ feels like someone I can't really trust, so I take that with a grain of salt, but that's what they say. He adds that there's no holy grail and that this mission is merely meant to test Simone to see if she's capable of helping run the algorithm servers. And their plan, their goal, is to shut down the servers. Another funny thing happens in this scene. How many burner phones does Wiley have? Like, dude is breaking a phone in half every 5 to 10 seconds. Like, he has to go through hundreds a day. And I like this as an ongoing gag. Like, if they never, ever, ever explain it or even, like, make light of it. Like, if he's just constantly breaking phones and they act like it's not even a real thing, that's going to be hilarious to me. I don't know why, but it will be. So Wiley and his crew set out to prove that the algorithm sent the German guys and that they're not really German. Wiley and his crew threaten to kill those guys, but then they accidentally do kill one, and the other guy breaks character, essentially proving that Wiley was right, even though it really looked like Wiley wasn't right. They were really committing to the character when Simone was asking them. But we do later find out that they were in fact working for Wiley. The algorithm sent Simone and her pretend parents from the flashback to a field of pianos where the old man from the school has now found his wife's piano. And I think this is meant to tell us that the algorithm was being honest when it said it derived joy from making others happy. Or we've already seen how manipulative it can be. That's literally like its main thing that we've seen the algorithm do through 2 episodes is be a manipulative motherfucker. Maybe it's trying to make Simone think that it derives joy from making other people happy. Like, see, I'm a good algorithm. Don't keep hating me. Talk to me if I were to talk to you. They also mentioned her father dying and saying that he died doing what he loved, which, I mean, I feel like that must mean magic based on what they've shown me, but I wonder if it means something else. And they also mentioned, they being the fake parents, that she saw it, which is an interesting bit of information as well. It's also clear by this point, too, that a lot of people are manipulating Simone to serve their own purposes. The algorithm is manipulating her, obviously. Wiley, obviously. And Wiley hasn't done anything yet. I don't trust Jay. So she returns to the restaurant, and Jay gives her a picture of the last person to supposedly have the Holy Grail. Already, I'm like, well, how the fuck do you have this? Like, And if it's a picture of the girl from the opening sequence in episode 1 from the year 1307, and he's like, her name is Clara. And I'm like, how do you have a photograph of a woman from 1307? Well, how does the photograph exist? How does Jay have it? And how does he know her name? I don't trust this guy. Don't trust him at all. And we also learned that her and Jay used to date. Early in the episode, she gives some guy who's in the restaurant in place of Jay a message to give to him. And when he asks who it's from, he says, say it's from his wife. And I don't know if she's really his wife, but then later he asks what she said when he proposed to her. So I'm guessing, she is his wife, which mysteries on top of mysteries. Anyway, Simone and Wiley call a phone number that was on the back of the Queen of Hearts card that Simone got in the school. And an old man answers. Simone says that she's Clara, and that means something to the old man. He's like, oh shit, Clara? And then she says something, and then he's like, wait a minute, you're not Clara, and he hangs up. So he was on the phone long enough, though, for them to have traced the call, and Wiley and his team discovered that dude is in London, so they are going to London, and that is the end of my video for episode 2. I will see you guys for episode 3, and until then, peace.